There is a man carrying feelings for you that run far deeper than he has ever been able to express openly. Even if his actions have seemed confusing, distant, or inconsistent at times, his heart keeps returning to you in ways he cannot easily escape. In quiet moments, during restless nights, and in the spaces between his everyday responsibilities, thoughts of you continue to rise naturally inside him. What he feels is not shallow attraction or temporary curiosity. It is something that has settled into his inner world and changed him from within. You may have already sensed this connection without fully understanding it. Maybe you noticed how his energy shifts around you, how a glance lingers longer than it should, or how silence between you somehow feels emotionally charged instead of empty. There were likely moments when he seemed emotionally open, fully present, almost unable to hide what was in his heart. Then suddenly he would pull back, grow quiet, become cautious, or create distance just when things felt closest. That inconsistency may have left you questioning whether the connection was real at all, but the truth is that the very depth of his feelings is what created the conflict inside him. Many people imagine that real love arrives smoothly, without fear or hesitation. Yet some of the strongest emotional connections awaken unresolved wounds at the same time they awaken love. This man did not plan to fall for you. Your presence entered his life quietly and naturally, but once it did, something inside him shifted permanently. He may have tried to reduce his feelings to something easier to manage, calling it admiration, attraction, or friendship, but his emotions kept growing beyond those labels. Deep down, he knows this connection has touched him in a way he cannot simply switch off. The complication is not confusion about you. The complication is fear about what loving you truly means. Somewhere in his past, he learned to associate vulnerability with pain. Maybe he trusted the wrong person, gave too much to someone who hurt him, or opened his heart only to feel rejected or abandoned. Because of those experiences, he built emotional walls to protect himself. Over time, staying guarded became a survival instinct. Then you appeared and reached parts of him he thought were permanently closed off. That is why this connection feels so intense for him. You awakened emotions he had buried deeply beneath control and self-protection. Inside him, two forces are now pulling in opposite directions. One side wants closeness, honesty, and emotional surrender. The other side wants safety, distance, and control. That inner conflict explains the mixed signals, the moments of warmth followed by withdrawal, and the emotional push and pull you have been feeling. His inconsistency is not always a lack of care. Often it is the result of someone trying to balance longing with fear. There is also another layer to his hesitation. He may feel unprepared in his own life. Perhaps he believes he needs more stability, success, confidence, or control before he can fully step toward love. He may secretly worry about disappointing you or failing to be the kind of partner he thinks you deserve. In his mind, holding back may feel like protection. He tells himself he should approach you only when he feels completely ready. But slowly, he is beginning to realize that no one becomes perfectly healed or perfectly prepared before love arrives. Real connection grows between imperfect people who are still learning and evolving. Something inside him is changing now. He is beginning to understand that love is not earned by becoming flawless first. It is built through honesty, growth, vulnerability, and emotional courage. The walls he once relied on no longer feel as strong as they used to because your presence continues to reach him in ways he cannot ignore. At the same time, this journey is shaping you too. The silence and uncertainty may have triggered doubts about your worth, making you question whether deep love is truly meant for you. But those doubts are not the truth. They are old fears trying to speak through present circumstances. His hesitation is not proof that you are unworthy of love. Your value does not decrease because someone else is struggling with their own fears and emotional wounds. You are worthy of love exactly as you are now. And whether this connection eventually grows into something fully realized or continues teaching you through distance and waiting, it is already changing both of you deeply. Sometimes the strongest connections do not arrive to destroy us. They arrive to awaken us, challenge us, and slowly guide us toward becoming more emotionally honest than we were before. The love between you was never as simple as silence made it seem. Beneath the hesitation, the distance, and the mixed signals, there has always been something real growing inside him, something deeper than he knows how to express easily. His struggle was never about your worth. It was about fear, old wounds, timing, and the challenge of trusting a connection strong enough to change him. While part of him longs to move closer, another part has been trying to protect itself from pain it never fully healed from. That is why the journey has felt slow, confusing, and emotionally intense. But this season is not only shaping him, it is shaping you too. It is teaching you that real love should never require you to abandon yourself, chase endlessly, or shrink your value just to be chosen. Your role is not to force clarity before it is ready. Your role is to stay grounded, peaceful, and connected to your own self-worth while life reveals what is true in its own time. Deep connections often pass through silence before they reach honesty, and sometimes the delay is part of the transformation both people need. If his feelings are as real as they seem, eventually he will have to choose between staying trapped in fear or stepping forward with courage and truth. And when that moment comes, his actions will speak more clearly than all the silence that came before. Until then, keep living fully, keep protecting your peace, and keep trusting that genuine love does not disappear simply because the path toward it has been complicated. Some of the most meaningful connections grow quietly beneath the surface long before they finally bloom in the open. What this connection is truly teaching you goes far beyond waiting for someone to finally speak their heart. It is teaching you the difference between love and self-abandonment. It is showing you that genuine love is not supposed to leave you constantly proving your worth, questioning your value, or exhausting yourself, trying to earn clarity from someone who is still battling their own fears. The feelings between you may be real, powerful, and deeply transformative, but even real love must eventually learn how to move with honesty, effort, and emotional courage. His silence was never simply emptiness. It came from a place of conflict, from the collision between what he feels for you and the fears he built long before you entered his life. Somewhere inside him, he understands that this bond is rare. He feels the emotional pull towards you in quiet moments, in memories, in the spaces where distractions no longer work. Yet at the same time, the depth of what he feels forces him to confront vulnerability, uncertainty, and the possibility of losing control over the carefully guarded life he created to protect himself from pain. That is why his actions have not always matched his heart. Part of him has been standing at the edge of love while another part kept stepping backward out of fear. But no one can live forever divided between longing and avoidance. Eventually, the truth inside a person grows louder than the defenses protecting them. And that is the stage he is slowly approaching now. At the same time, your journey through this connection matters just as deeply. The waiting, the unanswered questions, the emotional highs and lows, all of it has been pushing you toward a different kind of strength. Not the strength that comes from becoming cold or detached, but the kind that allows you to remain soft without losing yourself. You are learning that your peace cannot depend entirely on another person's readiness to love you openly. Your worth cannot rise and fall based on their silence, their timing, or their fears. The healthiest thing you can do now is continue building a life that feels meaningful and grounded with or without immediate answers. Keep nurturing your own growth, your own joy, your own future, because the strongest version of love is never built on desperation. It is built on two people choosing each other honestly, while still standing fully inside themselves. If he eventually finds the courage to move toward you, let it meet a version of you that remains steady, self-respecting, and emotionally whole through the uncertainty. And if the journey continues taking time, do not let that delay convince you that what you felt was imaginary. Some of the deepest connections unfold slowly because they ask both people to grow before the relationship can fully exist in a healthy way. That is why this season, painful as it may feel sometimes, is not empty. Beneath the silence, transformation is already happening in both of you. In the end, this connection was never only about love, it was about growth, healing, courage, and learning how to remain true to yourself, even in the middle of uncertainty. The feelings between you are real, but real love does not thrive through fear forever. Sooner or later, truth asks for action. He will have to decide whether he is ready to step beyond his old wounds and move toward the connection his heart keeps returning to. And while he faces that inner battle, your path is just as important. You are being called to protect your peace, honor your worth, and stop measuring your value by someone else's hesitation. This season is teaching both of you something deeper than longing. It is teaching emotional honesty. If the bond is truly meant to grow, it will not need endless chasing or force. It will rise naturally through clarity, effort, and mutual courage. Until then, keep living, keep healing, and keep becoming the strongest version of yourself. Because whether love arrives tomorrow or later, the greatest transformation happening here is the person you are becoming through the process.